Okay, so today I want to talk about Ezra Bridger and how powerful I think he can be. I want to go back to Rebels and the last content we got of him before we recently see him in the Ahsoka series. Ezra is powerful from the start, as we see in Rebels when he senses Kanan Jarrus on his home planet Lothal. Without training most Jedi would have had by this time, Ezra was able to jump higher and further than he should have been able to. What should be noted is Ezra had a strong connection to animals, which we want to keep that in mind for later in the video. I want to mention that we know Ezra was a fast and eager learner from Kanan in the show Rebels, which I highly recommend you watch. It's one of my favorite shows, and I think you would enjoy it. His power is important to keep in mind going into the Ahsoka shows, as we just saw him this last episode. Another person in the show Rebels tells us how powerful Ezra is, and that person turns out to be Maul himself. Maul sees the power in Ezra and goes as far as begging him to be his apprentice. Now this is the main reason I wanted to make this video. During the time that Ezra met Maul, they managed together to open up a Sith temple where they received a Sith holocron that he kept for a short period of time. Ezra received training from a Jedi Knight named Kanan Jarrus, or better known as Caleb Dune during the Jedi Order. Kanan trained Ezra for roughly 4 years before Ezra would go off on his own. So now that we know that Ezra is trained for mostly light but some dark, I want to focus on the dark side and how it can make Ezra an amazing Jedi. And yes, I meant Jedi. Ezra learned few techniques from Maul, but learned more from the holocron. You may be asking how Ezra could still be on the light side but use the dark side of the Force. Very few Jedi can use the dark side of the Force and still remain on the light side. Some Jedi that use the dark side of the Force are Mace Windu, Plo Koon, Luke Skywalker, and Jedi Revan. If you want a separate video explaining their powers, please let me know. Basically, they can harness the dark side of the Force while still remaining in the light. Only one can do this when they're so strong with the Force. Not many Jedi are powerful enough to use these abilities, or use these abilities and not switch to the dark side. Yet, Ezra beats the conflict so young. Ezra can become so powerful in the upcoming years if he receives training from Luke or even Ahsoka. But it wouldn't take long because Ezra is determined and a super fast learner.